It's a new week. Nice fresh Monday. Thankfully, I think it stopped raining. It's been raining practically nonstop all weekend. Um, so that was pretty dreary, but looks like we're back on track for a little less of that. So let's see. Let me go ahead and put my tweet out. Okay, that's done. And really nothing's happened over the weekend. I think there was, uh, I don't even know if there was an event or anything going on. I can't remember. I think there's still some, well, let me check my welcome window because it pops up every time, but I don't really pay much attention to it. Apparently the dungeon chase is still going on. So I think that's until, what is today? I have no idea. The 21st, this might be the last day, maybe? I don't know. Like I said, I didn't really participate in it. I did get a hold of some of the WildStar guys, but that was mostly just from AH purchases. So yeah, let's see. Last week we worked on the Last of the Clown series. I don't think we're going to be doing any more of those. It's not like I couldn't, but you know, there's only so much you can do with those faces, at least for my skill set. Hey Bones, good morning. I'm glad you could join. So we're going to move past that, and we did tinker around, I think, Friday with the what I call the roundimals. It's like little round animal kind of represent. I know the ladybug isn't exactly an animal; it's more an insect, but that was the only thing I could think of that had bread. So, and of course, I did mention in a tweet that my husband was convinced that this one here is a little floret of broccoli. He says he cannot see the gator, so I guess I didn't do a very good job. We might go back to this later as it gets closer to Winterfest. It might be good for some kind of one of the things I've been toying the idea around in my head is that last year we did the advent calendar, and what it was is I pre-built everything. I think I got started like the month before and had everything ready, and I would just reveal each day's advent on the stream. This year, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to build something new each stream day. Now, that won't account for the weekend days, of course, since I don't stream on the weekends. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, if I'm just going to work on them on the weekend myself and then show you guys Monday morning, and then we pick up with the next one for that day. I'm not sure. But I think that might be kind of fun. It's going to be a lot of pressure on me because, again, it's pretty tough as it is to come up with 25 different things. All relating to you know, that holiday season, and not to come up with different ways of doing it than how I did it last year, because like last year we had like the polar bear plushie and the soda pop candy cane, and I think I made a doll and just a snowman and all sorts of other things. So I would like to, some of the things may be similar, but if they're going to be the same things, then I'm definitely going to build them differently this year, just to keep it fresh. But we may come back to this kind of style. You know, this might be good for like, rather than animals, maybe do some like a snowman face, or maybe even a Phineas, Papa Phineas face or something. I really don't know. I haven't really thought about it, but anyway. Good morning, Poi. Glad you could join us, and thank you for the host, Gamer. I appreciate that. So yeah, as you can see, I've moved off the clown portraits to the side. They were all stacked up here. These have been moved to Culantros plot, so if you're wanting to look at any of these sculptures and paintings that we've been working on the stream this month, you can find them on her plot. It's Kulantro Greenleaf, Culantro. I put cardboard boxes over a couple of the paintings there because they technically aren't part of the CBDC stuff, so I have just temporarily covered them up. I didn't want to actually move them completely out, but I figured, it'll make it easier for those that have been wanting to look at these up close. And if Green wants to take a look at any and possibly use one for their museum plot, which is what this whole CBDC is about, then they will be able to do that much easier, just visiting all in one place. So today we're going to kind of shift gears again away from the roundimals, but kind of back to the Orin domes. I've been having a lot of fun with those with the clown, but I want to see if we can try something else besides the face stuff. So what we're going to do is there's a technique called the relief sculpture. Basically, it's like you have a big slab of marble and you just kind of carve out, but you leave it on its like the main surface of it. That's kind of what these would be if I left it on an Orin background. But since I changed the background, technically they're not, I guess, a relief because it's not sitting on the same material. So we're going to do that this time. I'm just going to grab one of these domes. Let's put that at a pretty good size just to start off. And get this nice and squared up. Excuse me. Yeah, I have a bit of a cough again. Should I be building them on my Dominion character? Why would I want to do that? No, the only Dominion character I have is Melon, and he's got all his steampunk stuff. I still haven't finished his plot. I just kind of got sidetracked with so many other things. Oh, my nose. Pardon me. It's not the... Oh, Bones, you and your puns. Just went right over my head. It's too early in the morning for that stuff. Okay, so we've got our dome. It's like 0.5 size, squared away, good to go. So let's turn this around here. And I just replicated it so that it'd be nice and good in the center there. And so now we have a starting point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one again, replicating it. I'm going to knock it down to 0.2. Now this one was 0.1, and this one is going to be 0.2. And then I'm going to tilt it. Let's do it like this. I know it looks like I'm going to do like another eye thing, but I'm trying to veer from that. So, and I want to find kind of the center point of the dome. Well, your day is coming, Bodes. I suspect it won't be too much longer. You have to wait on that. Let's see. Make sure this is squared up here. Ah, gosh. See, that should be 70. 90. There we go. I don't know why it gets all wonky. I think it's still twisted a little bit sometimes. Okay, so now we have this little design here. Now there's probably much easier ways to do this, but this is how I do it. I'm sure Katya's tools work much easier for other people. But yeah, it's not how it works for me. I get confused when I try to deviate from this way I'm getting ready to do. It probably is. I'm sure there's a way that, like, if you have a full set of something and you want to replicate that full set and then kind of offset it a little bit, I think you'll understand what I'm talking about here in a minute. But the only way I figured out how to do it is by just copying it to a specific section. So like this top one, we're going to copy it to the first slot, and the second one we're going to copy to the second slot. And I have both linked to this main piece right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clone place the first one, clone place the second one. So now there's actually two pieces underneath here. And then I'm going to rotate my leaf like so. And notice I'm able to kind of position it. Now I could probably look at the degree that it's at, but I found that sometimes the degrees, if you do it exactly at the degree kind of mark, then I have to do a lot of like adding and subtracting, and it confuses me, and I just like it simplified. So I don't even look at the degree that it's turned. I'm just looking at this. So I drop it down, I link this up to the center again, then I clone place the first one, clone place the second one, and then I rotate it again. It's a really simplified way of doing it. Like I said, I'm sure there's better ways. I know there's like you can set it so that as you link it, you can turn it automatically with like one button kind of thing. I think people use that for the staircases. But I tend to do it like this for myself because for me it's easier to kind of follow along. I don't like too much automation in it because, again, I get kind of confused about it. So I find this easier. So clone place, and then I just built it again. So as you can tell, I'm just kind of making this pretty little flower thing. Now, if I knew in the end what the design was going to look like, I could probably do this whole section and then just replicate it. But I find it easier to work this way. So eventually I'll get it back around to the original degree. Okay, so linking. This kind of what I'm calling a relief sculpture would be good for like if you have a special cabinet that you want to make. You know how a lot of our display cabinets and shelves and bookcases and stuff, they have these little, I call them filigree. I'm sure that's not the right word, but it's like little extra decorations, like carved wood bits and things. This would be a good way of building up your own. Maybe you want to have cabinets with some kind of engraving on the front of the doors. This would be a fun way of doing that. Obviously, pick stuff that will show up at a decent distance. Maybe these won't be ideal, but it's something. Okay, so got that linked, but I haven't copied it yet. Okay, so place. Now I do find that if I'm doing it like this, I may end up with like a smaller gap at the end. You'll see what I do, how to fix that in a minute, but Because, you know, I just arbitrarily picked a size for these leaves. I didn't, or petals or whatever you want to call them. I didn't, I don't know how it's going to turn out, if it's going to be exact matchup. It's probably not. I think most of the things I've done like this, it's always a little bit, either the last one's a little scrunched up or there's a bigger gap and you have to put it in a little wonky. But you'll see what I mean here in a minute. And I'm talking and I get distracted and I kind of lose track of where I'm at. So let's see, clone place, clone place. Okay, so technically I could now just grab these 4 leaves or petals and replicate those, and then it should come out perfectly. But you can see that this one looks a little off. It's not quite lined up, and you can tell that because it's not at 90 or 180 or however you want to say it. So that also is a problem. So we'll just keep going just like this and we'll see how it goes. Maybe that'll be where the stem goes or whatever. All right, Bones, see you in a little bit. And why this one is showing up all wonkied up, I have no idea. I'm afraid to turn it though, because see how it's twisted out? It should be like exactly whatever, but anyway. Clone place. We're just going to pretend that it's doing it nicely and just carry on. I like the way that the leaves, or the petals, whatever you want to call them, have different coloring, and it's just all to do with the lighting, the shadow of it. Like this one here has none of that contrast, but as it turns, it does. See how weird that is? Sometimes you can use that to your advantage and make some pretty designs. Okay. Now, I will mention that come Friday, I will not be streaming on Friday. I have a doctor's appointment, so rather than worry about streaming right before it, I'm just going to skip that day. Just a heads up on that. It's nothing serious, just a checkup thing. Okay, see how it's just slightly, if I touch the leaf there, there's going to be a little bit of a gap. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it in between and hope that nobody notices. We'll know that it's that way. And it's little imperfections like that that kind of annoy me. I'll sit there and pick at it, fiddle with it for hours, and my husband's like, just let it go. And it's like, no, it's bothering me because it's not right. Okay, so now that I have the main petals set up, I want a second layer of something. So I'm going to turn this to where it kind of looks in the middle there. And then I'm going to replicate this. I'm going to flip it. Whoops, not that way. Let's try that again. That was a fast run. What did you get? Did you get anything yum? See how this looks much bigger than that one? That's what I mean by it not kind of doing right. Oops. Let's see if this will. Again, I'm just eyeballing, so you could probably, if you want to mark that center line a little better than just eyeballing it like I'm doing, you could probably put a floor or wall or something right in the middle of that, and that'll help you line it up a bit better if you have major concern about it being the wrong position. It's really hard to tell where that thing is. Now, what I could probably do is just put one big one right. Let me try that. That'll save me some pieces, I think. I think what I'm worried about is it's going to poke through the leaves, and I don't want it to poke through. Actually, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? See, accidents like that, that's awesome. I'm not even trying to do it on purpose, and it works out great. See, 0.25 maybe. Put that at the back. See, it's gonna be poking through funny. Let's just get rid of this one. Kind of like that. It's not too bad. Yeah, I think smaller is better. We could do like some kind of like you know how some of the flowers have like little dots in the middle. You could do something along those lines. I'm trying to think if there's something. You could just do make it like a circle kind of thing. Let's see. What was that? 10. Kind of like the shell of the snail. Ah, I copied the wrong thing. Just to add some little extra something or other. to see. Still like the idea of that one being out there too, but gonna link that one to the big one here. I wonder how this is gonna mess up if I try and fix that. Okay, not too bad. Again, just eyeballing. Oops. Did it again, didn't I? Oh. Let's try that again. Thought I replicated it. Apparently I hit the wrong button. Oh gosh. Duplicate. That's what I want to do. You can see I don't use the degrees and stuff a whole lot. Some things I do, most things I don't. I just freehand so much of this junk. Probably not ideal. I mean, we've come across where I've built like a house or something and it totally doesn't line up in the end, and that's why it does that. So if you're looking for, you know, things to meet up the way they should. I mean, look, I've got this one like super close to the edge and this one's not. So, you know, if you're really a stickler about having the distances the same, you'll want to do this differently. Let's just say that, because mine are pretty messy. And like there's this gap here. I don't know what that, you don't see that anywhere else except there. What is that? I think that's that one that was in the straight position, I think is what it was. Let's leave that one empty then. See if we can. Ugh. I did it again. I didn't replicate it again. Okay, so I'm gonna link all this up. I'm gonna put that on the bottom, I think. And I don't know, let's see. Just kind of give it something weird. No, that doesn't look good, does it? I guess we'll just go with this one. Maybe I'll just make it bigger, slightly bigger. Maybe nobody will notice that. Or just leave it like that. See, that one is the same way. And it's, again, it's because it's that one leaf that was a little offset than the others. We'll put both of those on the bottom. Maybe that'll help. All right. So there's a flower. Like I said, you could maybe use this on, you know, maybe you want to make yourself a nice faux door for some special, I don't know, maybe it's a vault or something, and you're tired of using the usual stuff and you have a few extra decor to spend, making up some kind of funny design like this might be one way to go about it. You can change it up by, if you don't want to do a full-on relief, you could just change some of the pieces out with the different colorings. The Draken and the Exile one's probably my favorite, next to the Orin ones. The Cassian one is okay if you're looking for that kind of design, but the problem I find with it is I often want to line up all of those, the lines, the markings on it, and that doesn't always line up, especially if you're trying to line up a dome with a wall or the floor. The square spacing is a little off, at least in my experience. The let's see, the Tua and the Granok ones, again, they're a little like patchworky, so maybe you don't want things kind of looking a little that way, but I think it just depends on what you're wanting. I really would love some of these building blocks, but in other, I'd like a cone and a block. I would love if we could get a block and like a pillar without the little knobby ends. Just a straight up, you know, maybe just a rectangle shape or something that we could use, or the 2x4s in all of these different textures. I would love that. But definitely the cone and a disc shape, you know, just this, but without the bump, and the cube, the block. I would love that in these basic bits, because I mean, there's only so much you can do with the domes. You know, I've shown lots of ideas, but you know, once you get down to it, there's really just only so much you can do. Again, I'm just going to be quickly eyeballing this. Just playing around with putting things together and making the shapes similar. But you could spend all day just making different designs like this, just having fun with it. No idea what angle that would be. Notice as you layer up, those things can get pretty far out. I mean, that one's not even touching. Just because of how, which one I copied, it's pretty far off. So you might have to do some adjustments once you get through there, but like putting this one in helps so it doesn't look too floaty. See what just weird, odd little designs you can make. And you could probably add other elements if you want some pillars and things for straight lines like connectors. Maybe you want to do like a solar system thingy. That would be one way to do this. I'm not even sure what I did there. Was it like this? Yeah, there we go. But see how the light, the shades and things, sometimes it works to your advantage, sometimes it doesn't. And again, if you like, for like your sculpture and stuff, if you're lighting them, that will play into it. Like here, if you underlit this or put it up above, certain things are going to show up a little better. The relief is going to change. Right now, I've just got this huge light stuck up in the ceiling, so it lights up the entire room. But obviously, if my lighting is done differently, that's going to change it up a bit. Like, I know some like to put like spotlights and things on their pictures. So like if there's a light in the room, that might change the shadows of that. If you put it right in front, it'll kind of nullify all of those shades. If you light it at the top or backlight it, that could have an effect. Yeah, it would make them kind of frightening, wouldn't it? This distance, they don't even look like they have eyes. But, you know, I'm kind of exaggerating this a bit. But, like, it can change it up where your light source is. It's why if you go to the museum plot, you'll see I tried to give as much overall lighting as possible. It's not very easy to do unless I just do like I did here and like have a huge lamp up there, but it almost looks like a face. I have a tendency to do the faces, I guess. There's symmetry in the faces. I think that's why it makes it easy. So let's try another one. This way. You could try and make a like a vase maybe. Let's see. It's the weirdest looking vase ever. And maybe just make some smaller flowers, and then you have like a little flower vase. So like you'd start off with the button for all of them. Let's see. So like say you want 3 flowers or something. Just arbitrarily putting some things there. And then you start making the design of the flower. try it this way. Similar to the one that I did for the clown hat, I guess. Let's try it. Duplicate. Wow, that's just... like something's biting me. I guess trying to make some kind of a weird rose thing. I don't know what it's supposed to be. And then for the stem, I would probably just use the, well, there's the hanging cables you could get away with, but if you're wanting to keep it all stone, there's really no easy way to do it because you're always going to get that little half moon shape. And the smaller you try to make it, the harder it is to be able to see, but this is probably the best right here, is to try and just make that wedge as tiny as possible but still visible, and hope that you can, you know, get it to work for you. You might want to change the way it's curved or something, and then use the same bits for, like, if you're going to have like little leaves on the stem. Like so, and then you can either use the same one or use a different one. Maybe do a daisy one instead. Oops. Again, I'm just eyeballing it. There's probably more accurate ways to make it look more uniform than I'm doing here. Just pick whatever works for you. I don't know what kind of flowers these might. It's like a little poof ball thingy. Bring this to the top. And then the same thing. Just add another. Again, these are really rough and tumble, but I think you can get the idea and come up with your own designs. Hey Cheeky, long time no see. Been a while. And again, just give it a leaf here if you want. And then this one, again, just make it a little different. Let's see if we can do a, oh, what do you call those things? Can't think of the name. Was it a tulip or something? Yeah, I remember you saying that you had kind of stopped building and stuff. Well, I'm glad you stopped by. You know, I understand that not everybody can remain obsessed like I do. Let's see, do they have like the little stemmy things up here? I can't really remember. A really just like little stemmy part. Probably not the right flower, but I'm adding it anyway. And then again, just another stemmy thing. And if you decide that you didn't have it positioned right for the vase, just link it together and move it. It's no biggie. So like maybe I don't like where this is sitting because in relation to that, so I could just link all these up. What have you been keeping yourself busy with? Yeah, well, some of us have a little bit more free time than others. So I can understand that. I think that's why a lot of people like to join what they call gaming communities, so that they can, you know, move around from game to game as their interest wanes or whatever. While I primarily focus on WildStar, I do play other games. I play Diablo and World of Warcraft still. So it's not like I don't play other things. It's just usually I save those games for like when there's WildStar downtime, or maybe I'm just needing a break kind of thing. Yeah, that's true. The only thing is, this design, it's not like it's flat. It's inside. Inside the thingy. Now, if it's you're talking about like from below, yeah, that would probably be good. Good for churches, a fancy door, a nice little like a hope chest kind of thing. That's all sorts of uses for that. Let's see, still linking up the flower here. So maybe I want this one a little higher and a little over. And this one like so. Maybe I want to turn the stem like that. So there's just some weird goofy vase with some flowers. This almost looks like a ladybug. This kind of reminds me of that. Excuse me. Oh, is that the case? Yeah, I talked to our guild leader, our former guild leader. I guess it was earlier last week. And he said a lot of them still kept in touch on, uh, was it Discord? I never got into that. I didn't want to. It wasn't that I was trying to be antisocial. It's just every time I turn around, there's always this new fandangle thing, and everybody's got to jump onto it. And I just got tired of downloading every new little shiny that comes around. So I put my foot down and said, nope, TeamSpeak was as far as I was going to go. I'd already done the Skype thing, the Mumble thing. There's a couple of other ones. It's like, no, I'm not doing another one. Because what inevitably happens, I download it, use it, and then like everybody moves off to something else, and then I have that program. And I know it could be just, you know, uh, remove it when I'm not using it anymore. It's just annoying. It's like I joined the guild because it was a WildStar guild, not a gaming community, and I'm not interested in playing uh, other games with the people that are in the guild other than WildStar. I want to focus. That's my main focus. But when people start talking gaming community, then you start losing loyalty to a certain game, because basically they just migrate to whatever is the latest fandangle thing, or you end up with splinters of, there's a handful here and a handful there and a handful over here, and never enough to do anything significant in one of the games. You understand? So I don't like that. Yeah, it was Discord Bones. I just refused to do it. I guess I was being kind of ornery, but people know how to get in touch with me if they want to, reach out, which, when I left, not a single person did. It's like, well, I guess I wasn't missed that much. There's no big. Of course, most people had already left by the time I did, because, they just moseyed on, and I wasn't really into the RP community side of it, or the rating part. I'd already kind of weaned myself off of that, so For those that stayed in touch, I guess it's important that they, venture off to other games with the others. So I play WoW. I just stick to myself in those. WoW and Diablo both is pretty much just my solo games. And WildStar has become that for me, other than uh, the stream and keeping in touch with you guys. That's about my limit on social activity, because when I'm in game, it's very often I just am building and there's not much chatter stuff. Now, if I see people asking questions about housing or something in general that I think I might can answer or help them with, sure, I'll get involved in that. But it's not like I'll go around, hooking up with people for dungeons and stuff. I just don't do that particular content. I still do the dailies and stuff, like Palaver Point, and I do my contracts. Mostly I've been doing, I kind of stopped doing those for a little bit, but then I'm back to doing them again because I've been wanting access to certain bind on pickup reputation items that require me to get my alts either leveled up a little bit or earn them some promissory notes. Like for one of my alts, I had to go and level her up to like 14 plus so that I could get the carrot plushie from the Galeris vendor. But all the promissory notes I've been stocking up on, I use them to get another one access to, what was it? It was something in the file, I think. I don't remember offhand what it was, but there's some things that aren't bind on pickup that you can get, like the gear trophies. You can get those straight from, I think it's the Grimvault vendor, and you can buy them with your main who has the reputation and then send them to your alts, and then they can crate them. But other things like a lot of the plushies, like the Protostar one, that was one I wanted to unlock, the Protostar plushie. I think that's Farside. And you have to actually unlock it with the particular alt you want them because they're bind on pickup. I hate that it's not consistent that way. I would rather it all be just, you can buy it with whoever and ship it over. I mean, if they're going to allow that on some, might as well just do it for all of it. It makes it so much easier, but what do I know? Okay, so I know it's a bit of a short one, guys, but I think we're going to call it for now. We'll be back to doing some more doodling. I'll come up with something else. I'll try and get off of the domes. I think you guys are probably pretty sick of the domes by now. But you can see you can come up with a lot of different stuff with the domes. I mean, all of this is just domes. And you can get a lot of interesting shapes, textures even almost. Just depends on how you use them. Abstract designs, little more like kaleidoscope kind of type of things, and then actual little artsy kind of stuff. So it's a lot of potential. Like I said, I would love to see some added basic building blocks that would include like the cones and blocks and rectangles and such. But until such time, it's fun to find ways to get around that. But yeah, I appreciate you guys dropping by, and of course, I wish you luck on your projects. I know that a lot of you are probably getting prepared if you haven't already earnestly begun your Winterfest plots. I'm pretty sure we've got some of you that already have Winterfest plots from last year. But maybe you're making some additions or you're just starting from scratch. I would very much love to know about any of them that you have that I may not have written down yet, because December I would like to do just a lot of house tours related to winter, the winter theme. It doesn't have to necessarily be all Protostar and Winterfest extravaganza heavy, or at all, as long as if it's Arctera plot, just a snowy plot, just whatever. I would very much like to hear about it because while I don't mind visiting plots that were from last year, I would really like to hear about anything new that you've put together. Especially, I think a lot of you will probably be working on yours in the anticipation that Carbine is going to maybe host another housing competition like they did for Shades Eve. Now, I don't know if they actually are. I haven't heard anything official yet, and I don't think they're going to let us know until maybe a week or two before, if we're lucky. So if you're considering it and you want to be prepared, I would say get started now. Don't wait until you hear the announcement, because by then you may not have long enough time. I know some of us, including myself, take entirely too much time to put this stuff together, so just be prepared. Yeah, so tomorrow we'll do some more artsy stuff. I don't know what yet. Wednesday, of course, will be house tours. And Thursday, we'll be back to doing some doodling. And of course, Friday, we're going to be off. I have a doctor's appointment, so there will not be a stream on Friday. Just a reminder, shoot, I don't have my calendar up. We're getting close to the end of the month. I think we're at, what is it, the 21st today? Yeah, the 21st. So that means next week we're going to be having both the CBDC showcase and, of course, rounding up with the last of November's house tours before we get into December winter tours. So definitely, if you don't want to join us for anything else, join us the Wednesdays for the house tours, and then I believe it's Tuesday of next week will be the CBDC showcase. Again, I haven't really been hearing a lot from folks that may have been putting together some of these paintings and statues for this month's challenge. I have a handful of names on a list so far, which include Seraphin from the forums. We've got My Junk, of course. Maddie's got some pieces. Bucky's got a few, and of course Aurora's got several that she's built for this particular thing. So if you have any project that you have done or you're hoping to complete by the end of the month, please let me know the character, the region, and what it is, where it is on the plot, and so I can get that all noted, because I like to be kind of prepared with the list of who we're going to visit for that day. So it really helps to kind of keep myself semi-organized. Again, it's open to both regions, both factions. I don't necessarily need to know your faction, just what region, because now we can visit either or. Doesn't really matter as long as I have the name to go by. And again, it could be things that you've done in the past that fit the criteria, or something new that you've built especially for this challenge. The main rule is it has to be 50 items or less. And that includes, if you do a painting, that includes the framework, the background, the canvas or whatever. And if you do a sculpture like these, it includes the pedestals that you put them on. It has to include that. So 50 items or less, that's the main thing. And that's mainly in place so that Green, who's kind enough to be kind of the judge for this month, is wanting to include as many builders in their plot display as possible. So restricting it to a specific amount really opens that up. I've been astounded. In my original gallery, I've maybe been able to put in like a half a dozen or more paintings, maybe a dozen. And using the 50 items per work, that you could easily double, triple the amount that you can put in before you start running out of space. So it's real important to stick to that. Yeah, Bones, I'll be checking it twice. Pretty soon I'll have to get my Santa hat out. We'll be wearing that for the December stuff. Anyway, just wanted to go over that again because we are getting close. So the deadline is coming, guys. So if you have something in the works, please let me know about that. I will be checking mail on both regions and stuff just in case people have tried to reach out and I just haven't noticed it yet. So please do that soon. So yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you have a great day today, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.